Hello and welcome to TAFE Queensland Gold Coast. My name's Kim and I'm one of the facilitators of the Early Childhood Education and Care team at TAFE Queensland Gold Coast, and I'd like to welcome you to this short presentation which will go through the vocational placement process for any of our students studying the Certificate 3, the Diploma and even the Teacher Bridging Program. So welcome to the Vocational Placement Program. You will have the opportunity to participate in a program that involves structured, accessible workplace learning whilst you're studying your qualification. Your work-based learning will focus on linking the knowledge that you learn in the face-to-face classroom or online and the skills with the situations that occur in the workplace. So this provides you with a great opportunity to combine your practice with your theory that you have learnt in class. So what is vocational placement, or what you will hear me referring to as VPC for short? It's basically structured workplace learning that prepares you for the workforce. It enables you to gain hands-on experience in an early childhood setting, and it also helps you link the knowledge to the skills that go with the job. And it helps you to consolidate and understand a theory that you are learning by putting it into practice in the workplace. Vocational placement is an accessible part of any of the courses, so you must be deemed competent in vocational placement for every unit you study as part of the Certificate 3, the Diploma or the Teacher Bridging Program. The advantages of VPC are basically that you're learning to develop and apply the knowledge that you're learning throughout the course, whether it be online study or face-to-face. You're actually gaining skills, employability skills that are recognised by the profession, and it helps you to achieve skills that will assist you in seeking employment in the future. You will also gain an understanding of what the expectations of the employers are, and it also enables you to make contact with employers. So the Certificate 3 qualification requires that you complete 120 hours of vocational placement. The Diploma and the Early Childhood Teacher Bridging Program require you to complete 240 hours of vocational placement. So to be deemed competent on VPC, you basically have to complete the hours. You have tasks that are related to every single cluster of units, and these need to be signed off by a workplace supervisor throughout your time. There are workplace tasks and reflective journals that you also must complete for each cluster of units within your qualification. So once your workplace supervisor deems you as competent in their professional opinion, they sign you off for a certain cluster of units, and then a TAFE assessor will also come out and visit you, observe you in the workplace, and if they deem that you're competent, they too will also sign you off in your vocational placement workbook. The two signatures then mean that you are deemed competent at vocational placement in that cluster, and then once you submit your written assessments for the cluster of units, that then results in a satisfactory mark for that cluster of units. So basically we have a step-by-step process for vocational placement. The first step is to access the VPC unit on Connect, which is our online learning platform. So when you log into your qualification, you will need to go into the unit selection at the top of Connect, and in the drop-down menu you will find a vocational placement unit. So once you're into your vocational placement unit, the best thing to do is to go into Overview, into that tab at the top, and it'll bring down a screen that basically looks like this. All of the relevant information for VPC can be found in this unit on Connect. The first thing you should do, which is a matter of urgency, is apply for your blue card. So as it says here, if you have a blue card, you'll need to download and print out the authority to confirm a valid blue card application. So when you're in the overview section, you can go into the heading of documentation, and then you will see down here that there are two different types of blue card applications. So one is an authority to confirm a valid blue card, and that is for people who already hold a blue card. You must fill that out, send it to your teacher, who will then send it off to Blue Card Services. If you don't have a valid blue card or have never applied for a blue card, you will need to fill out the actual blue card application form. So again, you will send that to your teacher with the relevant identification documents that are certified, and they will forward it to the Blue Card Services for you. Blue cards can actually take about 6 to 8 weeks to process, so it's very important that you get onto this as soon as you commence your studies. I did forget to mention you actually can't start your vocational placement in early childhood setting without having a valid blue card, which is a working with children police check. So the next thing you must do after sending off your blue card is select the preferences for the centres that you would like to attend. You'll need to provide us with 3 preferences for service you would like to attend, because basically we have a lot of students to place. Sometimes we may ring your first preference and they may be full with students or may not particularly want to have a student for some reason. So we then go to your second preference and so on. So shortly after you commence your course, you'll receive a link in the vocational placement unit that we showed you earlier on Connect as either a news item or an email. And you'll have to click on this link and it will provide you with, or it'll open up a Google Forms document like this, and you simply fill out all of that, placing your 3 preferences in there. If we can't place you in your first 3 preferences, the VPC coordinator will do her best to place you in a service that is nearest your preferences. At this time, once you submit this Google Forms, which will go to the VPC coordinator, it's obviously best to email your teacher with the 3 preferences that you've sent the VPC coordinator at the same time, just for their own records. So then what you have to do is sit and wait. We've got a lot of students who are studying with us every year, new ones starting every term, every semester. So there are a lot of students who have to be placed on vocational placement. So this whole process could take up to 2 weeks. So please be patient and wait to hear from our vocational placement coordinator about the progress. If you do have any questions in the meantime while you're waiting, you can please email your class teacher or your online teacher, and they should be able to assist you. There's essential paperwork that you'll receive prior to commencing your vocational placement. So the VPC coordinator will organise this placement and email you the vocational placement paperwork. So when you receive your paperwork, just check all the personal details that are on it are correct, and if not, email the VPC coordinator back and let her know. It's then important that you ring the centre that has been allocated, introduce yourself over the phone and make an appointment time that's suitable for them and you to go in and introduce yourself personally and to get this paperwork signed. When you go to the appointment with the centre, you should make sure that you're presenting yourself professionally in both your manner and your dress. Take the paperwork to get signed, along with your blue card if you have it, and your vocational placement booklet, which you can find in the vocational placement unit on Connect, the screen I showed you earlier. Your starting and finishing hours and even the days that you work can be arranged between yourself and the supervisor of the centre. We suggest you do up to a minimum of 5 to 6 hours a day, and often you can follow the shifts of the supervisor in your room. We also suggest that it's best to alternate and do different start and finish times, as different things occur at different times of the day, and that way you'll get to experience all of the different things that happen throughout the whole day. Once the paperwork is signed, and check that all areas are signed by you, the student, and by the placement provider, which is the service supervisor or director, you must return this paperwork to the VPC coordinator, and at this time I would also CC your teacher in, again just for his or her records. So a couple of important notes here. You cannot start placement without a blue card, and you cannot start placement without this paperwork being signed and returned to the VPC coordinator at TAFE Gold Coast. This is what the essential paperwork will look like. It's called a Vocational Placement Training Agreement. So make sure you read through all of this and sign the important parts where it says student signature or parent or guardian signature if the student is under 18. And that is where the service provider signs down here as well. And again over here, signature of student, the name of the centre, the name of the person or the supervisor of the centre, and then the signature of this person. And you should be filling in these details. These details over here are the ones that you need to check are the correct ones. So when you commence placement, it's important to be prepared and plan for your days on placement. So there's many student responsibilities, and these are all lined out in the vocational placement workbook, but you must make sure you are paying attention to your attitude and behaviour, your attendance, punctuality, what you do if you miss a day, how you record your attendance, safety and anti-discrimination obligations, and further information about completing your assessment requirements whilst you're on placement. So all of this information is in your vocational placement book. So again, if you're in Connect, the online learning platform, you would go to your vocational placement unit, click on Overview, Documentation, and your vocational placement booklet will be somewhere in there. So important points to remember: practice the skills and knowledge that you obtain from your unit. So rely on the theory and the content from your online resources and face-to-face classes whilst you're doing your vocational placement. Make sure you communicate effectively with the educators in all areas, especially regarding the progress of your VPC book. So you make sure you stay in constant contact with them, showing them your book, what you're doing for the day, what you're planning on doing for the day, perhaps highlighting things the night before so you're aware of what skills you're hoping to show them. And then I would suggest that you show them on a daily basis or at least a weekly basis, making sure you ask questions, learn and observe, and even ask for feedback from your supervisor. So be familiar with the skills that you need to be competent in. So obviously read through your book the night before. If there's something that you're not sure of, make sure you ask your teacher. You have to make sure you demonstrate and practice the skills until you're competent. The educators will not sign you off in the workplace if they do not think that you are competent. So if you're not successful at demonstrating a particular skill straight away, ask for feedback, learn, observe, and continue to try until you are deemed competent. Be sure to complete your workplace tasks and reflections. You have to make sure that you are appearing hardworking and keen. Show initiative, be punctual, be professional, and be prepared. Vocational placement is definitely like a job interview, and many of our students do gain employment while they're on vocational placement. So go the extra mile where possible. If you have a special talent or a gift, for example, you can play the guitar, take it in and share it. Build up some resources to equip you for your further career. So collect any experiences, songs, rhymes, stories, finger puppets, felt pictures, any ideas that you can to help you further on in your career. And show initiative. How great would it be if there was an opportunity for you to share a story, for example, with the children, while the educator perhaps gets called away and spoken to by a parent? They love nothing more than to see students who show initiative. So I hope you enjoyed that presentation. If you do have any questions, please email any one of your teachers or the VPC coordinator directly. Again, all of this information can be found once you log on to Connect, find the Vocational Placement Unit, go to Overview, and then all of the documentation will be in there. The one thing I do suggest again is that you thoroughly familiarise yourself with your vocational placement workbook. You must keep hold of that workbook throughout your whole qualification, as we retain a hard copy at the end of your qualification as evidence of assessment. So that's it from me. I'd like to thank you for taking the time to listen to this presentation, and I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you around at TAFE Gold Coast.